You are listening to Season 2 of Reality Check Podcast with your host, Matthew Smith.
Let me show you something.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another season of Reality Check with me, Matt Smith, as your host. This episode, the topic of conversation and the area in which I will explore will be technology. It's something that is ever changing, and in 2020 we're going to see the world transform in all sorts of ways and in how technology impacts our lives as well. I'm not too clued up about technology. I've still got a brick of an iPhone 5, but I am joined today by one gentleman who surely knows a hell of a lot more about tech than me. He is the founder of Scotland-based visual content company Ground Level Up, Carrick McLelland. How are you, Carrick?
I'm good, thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on as well.
No worries at all.
No, it's good to be here.
Good. How's your day been so far?
Yeah, good getting there Monday. As I was saying to you just there, I often like to do an afternoon on a Sunday in the office just to make sure I'm not like a duck out of water on a Monday morning and get all my stuff together. Had a busy weekend of shooting actually. We've just opened up a new studio in not far from the office, actually just 5 minutes down the road from Finnieston, Glasgow city centre. And we had all kinds of cars, we had some models in and everything, so I was busy doing that over the weekend. And but yeah, back into the rat race this week.
Yeah, absolutely, back into it. I want to start with a little introduction, if that's okay, a chance for you to just give me and the people listening some background on yourself, as well as some background on Ground Level Up.
Absolutely. So my name's Carrick, and I am the founder of Ground Level Up. So I founded the company near enough now 5 years ago. And when we first started out, I was very much had the attitude of going to chase the sort of big stuff. When we say we're a visual content company, what we do is we actually specialise in social media video content. Okay. So we create videos and also photography for brands and businesses. So it's all commercial, but the way we differentiate ourselves is we are very much social media focused. So the output for our content is for a social media audience. Typically, a production company, a lot of them you'll still find today, were built 20 to 30 years ago, and they were built for the TV advert.
Okay.
Audience.
Right, yeah.
And the methods of how you produce content, for example, for a TV advert are very different now to how you do it for social media. Social media has created a demand for things to be done fast, cost effectively, and also still to a high standard. People still want that high standard, even though you're watching 90% of people are watching it on a mobile phone screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you still
true.
need to make it good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we position ourselves in that.
So kicking things off with the questioning, really, I want to ask you a few starter questions just to get ourselves comfortable. I want to know where it all started for you personally. When and why did you start wanting to create incredible videos?
So it started out, as I said, I started out the company Ground Level Up, and I was chasing something very different to now what we're doing, which often happens when you start a company is you start it with one idea, then you end up seeing actually this is where I should be going, not this, rather than this direction. So I started out with from a mountain biking background, believe it or not. I used to race downhill mountain bikes.
Wow.
And through the races, there'd always be photographers, and at the end of a race, you'd go and you could see the photos that you were taking, and I was like, this looks really cool, I'd like to do that. So I then proceeded to continue the mountain biking and the racing, but I got myself a camera and started taking pictures of my mates, and from that it just developed on until I started doing little videos. The videos only came because of a result of people, my mates, sort of asking, let's do an edit or let's do something this weekend. So like, right, cool. Went out, we'd mess around for a day with the camera and make a sort of a 6-second to 2-minute edit of them throwing themselves down a hill on the bike, and that's kind of slowly developed on. Kept doing that more and more. Started doing the occasional pay job. I think my first pay job was for 20 quid.
Wow. Got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. For full days filming, one would say you could probably make more money washing dishes or something. But anyway, I kept doing that, until I got to the stage. I was never really a school person or an academic, you could say.
Right.
So I went to apply for a course in London. Again, I should have listened to my inner subconscious about not being cut out for the education system. Anyway, long story short, the course in London wasn't very good in my opinion, and I came back, worked in a bar for a bit, and still freelance stuff on the side. But then I was like, right, I need to do something about this. If I'm gonna do this, then I might as well just take a punt and start up a company. And when I initially thought let's start the company, it was a case of I'll come up with a name and I'll film my own videos and photography under that name, and that was really it to start with. So I started Ground Level Up in, I think it was March 2015. No, February 2015 was the actual date I got it, but I took out a bank loan to buy all my kit.
Yeah,
well, take a punt, and it was when I woke up in the morning and I saw the money in the account. I was like, wow, I need to do something now.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
I did that, and for the first while I started chasing, sort of being this production company. My idea was I wanted to do like the next John Lewis advert, or the next, I don't know, the big campaign. So all the big TV stuff that you'd seen. I never really had an interest in going down the feature film route. I worked on a couple of sets in London, and whilst I was studying there, just as a runner, and it's a very different environment. I thought to if you want to work in a feature film, typically the traditional route is you start down as a runner with a big production company,
work your way,
and you work your way up the ranks until you get somewhere you want to be. But you're looking at kind of a 20-year
timeline sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
timeline to be doing what you want, and I've been quite an impatient person my entire life. So
I think it's better to be that way anyway. You just want to get it. I want to get to where I want to get ASAP.
Yeah,
100%. 20 years, no one's got time for that anymore.
Yeah,
got to get to the top ASAP. Yeah.
So I went down the sort of route of producing commercial stuff. So and they were all online adverts. I think when I first started the company, you were miles ahead if you had like a 3-minute video on your website.
Right.
Now, 3 minutes. No, if you're doing like commercial content, a lot of the time you're sort of putting stuff out every week. The shelf life for something on social media is a week if you're lucky.
Absolutely.
Which is where the need to create cost-effective video content that's also high-end and also time-effective. Cost-effective and time-effective element kind of go hand in hand, because if something takes a lot of time, it's going to cost more. So they work together for us really. And that's kind of where we're at now. So my whole kind of positioning of the company gradually changed as the rise of social media did, with the rise of Instagram and video content becoming an Instagram stories, Facebook, and all that. That's when I slowly started to realise actually chasing this kind of big advertising campaign route wasn't actually going to be. That's what everyone was trying to do. I thought, let's try and actually go down the route of making video accessible to the masses, not just the big players. So I wasn't chasing these ultra high-end big brands anymore. I was more chasing the SMEs, the startups who needed the content, and I didn't have like millions to spend essentially. But there's a whole market there, which we're discovering and still in the process of discovering. And that's been our whole thing, is that all these businesses now have social media pages, whether how big or small they are, and they need content.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've decided to kind of go to that,
tap into that
unaddressed
sort of
market essentially, because all the other production companies they want to go for the big stuff, which is fine, but I think so much less competition doing these sort of
totally
smaller videos. So that's the spiel. That's where we're at.
So as recent as Sunday, the Ground Level Up Instagram page has posted 256 times. The page has got over 2,500 followers. And you've completed some fantastic work, as well as working with the likes of The Cooperative, Nationwide Bank, and Chris Kamara.
Yeah, Chris Kamara. Yeah.
Is there a company or a project that you still wish to produce, or a particular person you personally want to work with?
It's a good question. That I think really what our main interest is the type of project that we want to work on, rather than a specific client as such. I personally love the automotive and car industry and sectors. If you can get me on an open road somewhere with all the right kit that I need, I'd happily film cars for the rest of my life. I just like doing that. To me, it comes naturally. And that's what I was talking about, the studio that I've just opened up in Glasgow. That's going to specialise in automotive photography. It's not one that does that yet, I believe, in Glasgow or Scotland. I think in terms of a project that Ground Level Up like to produce, we like to sort of produce content that's has a bit of a story to it, but is also can be quite disruptive. So I love PR stunts.
Yeah.
They always get me excited when you're doing something that's grabbing the attention of the public.
Yeah.
I like doing stuff that's I know that ruffles feathers, but in a good way.
Yeah. It's going to make you get you noticed, and just a little nudge there. Look, we're here.
Exactly. Yeah. And we do occasionally have the opportunity to work on these types of projects. But the main thing I think for me is just having an ability to sort of film a concept and with the process of turning that into something, I think is kind of the projects that we like to work on. So if you think disruptive, conceptual base with a bit of a story behind it, I think if those three things can come together, then that's an ideal project for us.
Yeah.
But saying that, we're not limited to that. We work on all kinds of projects that are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the likes of the Co-op, being able to travel out to Malawi with them and film out there has been amazing, in Ghana as well.
How did you go about building that 2,500 following on Instagram, as well as thousands that aren't following on your Instagram but they're still following you on other social medias? How did you go about building that and getting Ground Level Up to where it is today?
So really, think of that. It's 2,500 followers. It's good now. We're at a good stage. We've got a nice audience on all of our social channels. They're becoming harder and harder to access, believe it or not, through Facebook. They ask you for more money in order.
Yeah.
I think right now for a Facebook page, I'm not quite clued up on the stats for an Instagram page, but for a Facebook page, you can only access around 12% of your audience organically.
Wow.
You have to throw money at Facebook.
Yeah, of course.
But with regards to Instagram, and same for Facebook, it's really what we've done before now is we've just posted all of our work, told people a bit about how we've done it, but we have actually spent money on advertising Instagram. I think that's probably where a huge majority of our audiences come from, and that's just the reality of it now. If you want to have that social media presence, you do need to throw money at it, but it's just how you throw the money and what you do with it is the things that work.
Got to get it right. Yeah.
I think the main thing for doing that, if you're a company, especially one like us, it's quite nice for us because we always have stuff to showcase. The way we like to sort of show our work is, rather than just paste a link and say here's a new project that we worked on, we like to sort of give a little bit of insight into what we did to make the project happen, the time that was spent doing it, and all the stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see another production company doing. So we're quite transparent in terms of how we share our work and how we put it all together, and we like to get that across in our social media. And we like to sort of say to people, look, video production isn't out of reach. It's not impossible to do. Things can be achieved in timescales that you wouldn't imagine. I think that's the kind of, we follow almost like a slight disruptive tone of voice. I don't know, maybe that's a reason why people like to follow us. Maybe it's not, but that's
it seems to be working.
That's the route that we choose to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you must have produced a high number of projects over your years now. Is there one or a handful of favourite projects that you are most proud of?
That's another good question. There's always some, and I think in terms of one that set the bar for us, there's a couple. We really enjoy the opportunity to work with Velux and Chris Kamara. Yeah. And Velux is a fantastic household name brand. Produce great product as well, but Velux were really good in terms of just helping us like bring it all together and being able to essentially just, we got confetti cannons for that.
Yeah. A slow-mo shot on it.
We got to build a fake builder's merchant set in a studio for a day. There was loads of things that we were able to sort of get pulled together for that, which just made it really enjoyable. In terms of probably one of my favourite ever projects or videos.
Or the one that's come out the best, or the one you can sit there and watch and go, that's great, it's seamless.
It was actually, believe it or not, it's one that you probably wouldn't expect, but it was a little personal project that I worked on with a mate of mine. And it's still to be, it might be because I had such a good time on the trip. I wouldn't say the production value is particularly high.
But in your opinion,
video,
it's...
But I think it It was the summer of either 2016 or 17. I believe it was 2017. A friend of mine and I decided to drive to Rome from where I used to live in Stirling, front door, and film it. He just had his second kid.
Oh my God!
And he had this amazing car.
Wow.
The time had come for him to get rid of the car.
Oh, right.
And he says, I want to go out of a bang for this. So it was I don't know if you're into cars or not, but it was a Honda S2000, but it was one of these things that could have been taken out of a set from Fast and Furious.
Wow.
So he's like, would you like to come with me on a trip?
I would love to.
Make a film of the full trip. So I was like, you know what? Yes, let's do it. So we drove from Stirling to Rome, and we didn't do any filming on the way out there. We just looked at locations and stuff, and on the way back we then decided the route. So I think we started in Rome, and we were like, right, we just need to get back now. So I think it took about 3 days to actually get there. We stayed there for 2 days, and then it was like, right, return leg. So it was absolutely knackering, as you can imagine, but it was fantastic. Saw so much of Europe that you just didn't know existed. So we started in Rome, I believe, at around 10 in the morning. And we started to film our way all the way back to Scotland. So we went through all these amazing, went up to La Spezia, which is the amazing hills in Italy. And then we went through the Swiss Alps, right down through it. But I remember when we'd finished all the stuff filming in Italy, we maybe had to make 2 or 3 more stops just to do some more filming. The next stop after Italy was the Alps, and then after that I think we drove non-stop essentially from Italy to Stirling through the Channel Tunnel. But I think because it was so knackering, and we still got such a nice result and an outcome. An outcome. So back on was probably one of the good parts. When putting it together and figuring this
most meaningful, I suppose. You and your mate going on a massive, huge journey.
Exactly. And then he stripped his car down to pieces after that, and then sold it off.
See you later. We're waving goodbye.
Another sort of good nuggets were in there. You couldn't put the windows down in this car because it was trapped. There was also no air conditioning.
God, muggy air.
Yeah. But no, that probably goes down as quite a fun. You can still see the video on our Facebook. Today.
So something slightly different now. I've asked this sort of similar question to my previous guests, but it's sort of like a more trivial question. If you could film a music video for any musician in the world, who would they be, and what would you produce?
That's another really great question, because I know I've already mentioned that I love filming cars, but I would also film music videos endlessly.
Absolutely, it's just an endless creativity with it.
I love being able to pair visuals up with music, because for me, like selecting music, if I've got free reign to select any music I want, I will have a field day. I've always thought one of the best jobs you could get is being a soundtrack selector, or whatever. I don't even know what you call it. This shows my knowledge of the film industry, but choosing soundtracks for films.
Oh, score. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you probably know it more than me.
Yeah.
But I think that would be one of the best jobs. But I think in terms of a musician, it'd probably be I'd love to do something from the R&B or hip hop kind of genre. Artists, I'm not sure. Do you know who I think I'd actually love to do a music video for? Just because I think his work as an artist is just amazing. Yeah. Is Frank Ocean.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He does his own visual stuff anyway, and I think it's brilliant. But I think in terms of getting a concept together for that, it would be brilliant. I have loads of songs that I've already done like a storyboard in my head to.
Yeah.
That
I'd like to remake that video. I could do that better. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. But no, if you give me an artist or genre of music,
you could just do it,
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think you're touching on Frank Ocean now. I know that he's very close with the sort of Tyler the Creator and that sort of gang, and that their videos. Some of them are sort of eye popping. You go, what the hell is he making? But in terms of creativity, like the likes of Frank Ocean and Tyler the Creator, they've just got free reign and they don't care. They've got no guidelines. They go, right, let's put this in there. Why not put that in there? And I think it does come out in a wonderful piece of a video, I think.
No, exactly. I'm a huge fan of the Travis Scott and A$AP Rocky music videos as well. In terms of their creativity, they just push the boundaries.
Absolutely.
And,
it's almost like a film in itself. When they're shooting it, they've got to get everything right, and it's...
It's
very impressive.
Music videos is always a yes from me, for sure.
Drones are an increasingly popular tool to use with regards to videography, and as well as just simply for entertainment. Do you use drones to film some of your footage, and how important are they within your specific workspace?
Now you just reminded me what my favourite piece of kit is.
Oh,
Yeah, it is by far the DJI Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah.
It is.
Just checking, that is a drone, is it?
Yeah, it's a drone.
I
can confirm that is a drone.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Said a jumble of words and letters, and I went, drone. Yeah.
It's not just any drone.
Okay. Okay. Don't say that. Don't you say that?
But no, we shoot on drones all the time.
Yeah.
We've got three. We've got a Mavic, DJI Mavic. DJI are really like the brand.
Yeah, for drones.
For drones. It folds down into about that size.
God.
You can fly it in under sort of 30 seconds. It's got all these sensors on it, practically make it idiot proof as well for crashing and stuff like that. I have written off a few drones in my time. But this drone is it's fantastic. It's just so small. The quality that you get out of it is capable of a cinema screen.
Wow.
And it's just a solid bit of kit. It's been everywhere with us. It's been to Africa. The boys are about to go on another trip to Africa, actually, filming for World Duty Free.
Wow.
They go on 9th of February, I think, and they'll take that out there because it's just so small. In terms of just the ease of it and also the price of it, it's such a good piece of kit that you. For the price that you pay for it. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think there's loads of YouTubers are using them all the time for entertainment, but for your sort of purpose in your industry, it is vitally important, I suppose, isn't it? Just to get those shots that you can't get anywhere else. I think that some of the shots that you can produce with drones, I've seen only a handful. Incredible. And you get your whole landscape across that whole shot, and it is really impressive.
Well, the whole purpose of a drone and the whole benefit, in my opinion anyway, is that they're designed to get to places helicopters can't. So if you've got the thing 400 feet in the air, for a lot of the time, that kind of a drone loses its unique selling point. But it's because you're high enough off the earth, helicopters could be at that height to achieve a shot if it needs to be. But it's when you're doing things like flying it through forests,
that's
or
true.
in between buildings,
tight gaps,
obviously with the correct permissions and the ease of taking it off on a boat on a lake or a loch somewhere. All of those things, I think, where drones have their true value is when you're be able to get shots that would have never been achievable otherwise, and if you did want to achieve them, the cost for doing, for example, if you did flight filming in a forest, you'd set up something called a cable cam, where you set up one cable on that tree and one on that tree, and there'd be a wire that runs in between it, which the camera goes off and flies to. But you can already think of the setup time. So, no, mate, I'll just follow my drone and just ready to go.
Blimey.
So I think that's where the drones hold their true value.
Absolutely. So we're going to go into the main sort of section of the podcast. And one of the main reasons as to why I've asked you to be here today, I want to get your take on the future of technology, more specifically the newest technology trends that I'm sure we're going to see in 2020 and the years to come after that. I'm going to list them and then going to get your opinion on whether or not it will be a hit or a miss in the next sort of 10 years, next decade, okay? So the first one is Tesla. Will Tesla as a company be a hit or a miss from 2020 onwards?
It's a really good question. I'm an avid follower of Elon Musk because as much as of a loose cannon I think he is, I do like what he's doing. And I think he's another one of these people who just loves to sort of ruffle feathers as well.
Absolutely.
I think Elon Musk, in my opinion, is a bit like, think of the Apple of the car world. Yeah. I think you've got all these other great electric offerings such as BMW and Renault and Porsche now doing an electric car as well. And I think they will always have their place because they've been they're brilliant cars in the standard sort of combustion engine. But I don't think any of them are going to be able to do it like Tesla are. Yeah. And I think what Elon Musk has done a great job of is just I think he's a marketing genius. Like the whole smashing of the window of the Cybertruck, that wouldn't have gone no one would have really heard about the Cybertruck as well
if it had gone right.
If he didn't smash the window.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I also think he's addressing that market. People have a need for pickup trucks. Like America, people love their pickup trucks. I don't know if you've ever been to America.
Never been.
But you'll see there, it's almost embedded into their culture. So if he can come up with a solution for that, that allows people to have their truck, which they love, then I think that's all good. We actually placed a pre-order on a Cybertruck ourselves, for the company.
Wicked.
And because we do need a pickup truck anyway.
Why not get the Tesla? Why not?
Yeah, well that was it, and I like the look. I mean, some people would disagree. I like the look of it. I think it's what we need is something that draws attention, because we're going to put the company branding on it and everything like that. And whether people think it's ugly or they love it, it doesn't really matter.
No, it's not the point.
People
Exactly.
Look at it. I think in terms of Tesla, is it going to be a hit or a miss? I think people will be pleasantly surprised. I think they will pull through. I think obviously it's a list of unfulfilled promises, forever growing, especially the Cybertruck being a year late. But I think a lot of people just don't care. I think they just say, it's Tesla there.
Yeah.
They'll get it. Whether I'm sold on the full concept of electric cars yet or not is a different story. But I think in terms of a offering and a business and a brand, I think he's got it.
So a hit then for you? A hit?
For me, Tesla's a hit. Yeah,
fair enough.
Like it, yeah.
The next one is virtual reality. It's been branded the next big thing for 5 years or so, and hasn't really taken off as once thought. It's still sort of on its way up. Will virtual reality get a final resurgence?
I'm not fully sold on virtual reality. I'm not much of a gamer, so
No.
I don't feel I can comment. I know Valve's a gaming company, so I can't really comment on that element of it. But I can tell you one thing: there's nothing I hate more than trying to watch a 360 video on Facebook or anything like that. It's just getting your phone out and then you can't get it to the right angle, like looking at it upside down
in your living room, going whoop,
yeah,
whoop,
like that. And I remember we did a client actually asked us to sort of pitch in for doing a 360 VR tour.
Wow.
Of their premises, and it was mainly for disabled, so disabled people could still get a look, because the disabled people weren't actually able to do the tour on foot. So it was a nice concept that. Yeah. But it was all great. Thought this would be fantastic, and then we sort of started going through all the sort of pros and cons of how we can do it, this, that, and the other. And then I realised that it's a 30-minute tour. You're not going to want to wear a 360 headset for 30 minutes.
It's true.
You're going to feel sick. Yeah. I tried putting them on before, and it's cool. Like, wow, this is amazing. But then I take it off, and I'm like, right, I actually prefer my own. Yeah. Reality. And again, that's just my opinion. I personally, in terms of like that, it's been experimented, tried, and tested within the advertising world, and I think 360 can be done right when it's applied correctly. Like, to do 360 well, I think's a very difficult thing to do, and it's also again a hit or a miss in terms of you may think you're doing it well, but it might not come out well. And I think it's been tried a lot in the commercial sectors of doing VR campaigns and gamifying campaigns, and gamification I think is a great thing when it comes to sort of advertising, commercial and stuff like that. But I just don't think making someone put on a VR headset to then be advertised to is
the best way.
Is the best way of doing it. I can imagine for the game world, it's a massive market. I mean, I'm aware of the market size as a game world, and I think for that maybe it could work. But in terms of where we come into it for anything like virtual tours, this, that, and the other, I don't think so. And I would never want to watch a film or do something. No.
That's too far, isn't it?
Yeah. But maybe for the game market, you never know.
Yeah, I think gamers, it's almost like they want the next best thing. They want to be up to date. Obviously, you've got PS5 coming out, and it's just constantly sort of getting improved. So if it's not done well, and it's not a hash job, but a sort of like a just there for the sake of it. If it's just done, okay, let's get out of there. Let's get a 360 video or whatever. Then it probably is a miss. So a hit for the gaming, you think? I
think could be a hit for the gaming. Yeah, I don't know enough about gaming to comment on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think if people are willing to wear the headsets and the stuff that's being played inside them are high enough quality, then yeah, absolutely. But for the sort of commercial and advertising world, I know it's been tried. Even AR has been tried as well, but it's so difficult to do it and do it really well.
So the next one is Apple, so another giant.
Yeah.
The two worst kept secrets in technology are Apple's biggest experimental projects: a pair of augmented reality glasses and a self-driving car. But at the earliest, the glasses won't hit the shelves until 2021, and Apple is always wary about pre-announcing things. Apple, Carrick, will 2020 see the giants dominate once more, or will there be a serious competitor to come?
I think, again, it's very similar to like Tesla. Doing what Apple do and as well as they do, it's just going to be tricky. I think these companies have now got to the stage of just they're just so clever, and they're just always, you may think they're like one step ahead or maybe one step behind, when in fact they're actually 10 steps ahead.
Yeah, it's a game of chess. It's a game of chess.
Essentially it is. And it's a bit like Google just reached their $1 trillion valuation the other day, I think, as well. Again, it's like one of these companies where they're almost just too big to always get it wrong to a certain degree. A lot of these other companies do this, where they partially deliberately release some information about what they're working on.
It's similar to a PR stunt going, oh no, we've let this out. Yeah. Talking points, and it's all.
I think there's a lot of that in it, but Amazon did the same with their drone delivery, if that's gone quiet.
Yeah.
But what I think they actually do is that they, like, for example, for Apple, what wouldn't surprise me is that they sort of deliberately just trickle a little bit of information out. So about a new product, new car, and then they'll do that, and then they'll plant the idea in some specialist tech companies who maybe would specialise in self-driving capability, and let them go and do all of the research and then maybe the design and build. And Apple obviously know who these guys are. Yeah. And when the time's right, they'll be like, right, what have you got for us? And then,
absolutely.
And then if
give it to me now.
They'll just buy it. Buy the company. That doesn't. I think that goes on. I think those glasses, they're going to be a nightmare when it comes to protecting people's data and stuff like that. But I think that's the way the world's going anyway. Is you just day by day you're surrendering more and more to these big companies as it is anyway, and it comes a point where you can't really. Right, I'll have an iPhone, but I won't have a Google account because I don't like Google. You can't. You either have to be
in it. Yeah, exactly.
Or
not at all. Yeah, totally.
And I think people have to make that choice. I think in terms of the car and everything like that, I think there's definitely a chance that Apple will still make their comeback. Whether it will be the car that brings them back, or whether it will be their glasses that they're working on, I don't know. I know that there'll be something. I know that the iPhones, for example, for me have just been so samey. Yeah. I mean, you just get a camera update as well as a few other convenient things, but it's not like when they first brought out the iPhone or remember when the iPhone 4 came out and it was just groundbreaking. Yeah. There's, in my
not
opinion,
much has changed.
In my opinion, there's not been another sort of groundbreaking, like the fingerprint scan, fingerprint scan to get into your phone was groundbreaking. Yeah. And some of the camera updates on the earlier models was also groundbreaking, but I'm still yet to see. I think it's because the bar's been set so high for us, but I'm still yet to see a truly groundbreaking drop since that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I've still got I've got a iPhone 5, and it is just, in terms of the phone, it's a brick. It's thick but I don't see any reason to. No. If it does exactly the same as my girlfriend's phone, I think it's an iPhone 8 or a 9, I'm not sure, but it's exactly the same. I look at it, I look at the screen, it's just bigger and the text looks crisper or something, but I can still see it. So what's the problem? Wearable technology is the next thing I want to talk about. When Google bought Fitbit towards the end of last year, it signalled a renewed desire to succeed in wearable technology, a space where it has previously struggled. The expert of tech, Carrick, will wearable technology be a hit in 2020 and the years to come? Or would you give this one a miss?
Thanks for calling me an expert in technology. I don't think I am an expert in technology. But
now you can't disappoint now. You can't.
Wearables is actually something that I'm still not that clued up on, to be honest with you. Okay. Me personally, I've never appealed to it. I like having a metal watch, but it's got
the clink and the sort of the feel of it. Absolutely.
I like that. But again, I've seen a few cases more towards like the Apple Watches and how they've saved lives because they've got that shock measuring thing on it. So if someone falls over, if the Apple Watch doesn't send, and there's like a thing that triggers it, okay, that's a hit above a certain impact or whatever, and it will trigger a thing if they don't move for a certain amount of time, it'll automatically. So there's all that, which I think is brilliant. In terms of using, I'm very traditional in terms of I don't use like a Fitbit to like track my calories if I go to the gym or anything.
No, you
like
just do it.
I just go to the gym, yeah.
Like every normal human being probably should. Just go,
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah.
Let me just calculate how many calories I've burned
I know,
off there.
yeah. I'm not sold on that. And I can see how it works for some people, and I think if you're in that industry and you are a personal trainer or a whatever and you need to be assertive with these types of things, then for me anyway, I think it's unless they do something again groundbreaking that will make people think, right, I have to have a wearable item.
Ditching watches that are just metal for this Apple Watch or something. Yeah,
exactly. Then I don't think it will be a hit.
There we go. You heard it here. You heard the tech expert, Carrick.
Don't quote me. I might be completely wrong.
In 2 years' time, we'll look back and say, "Oh, Apple Watches are everything. Get rid of Rolexes. Forget them." So we've come towards sort of the end of the podcast, and to lighten things up a bit, we've got talked a lot about technology, and you've had your say on a lot of topics, and you've given Ground Level Up a good promotion. But we're gonna play a little reality check favourite of season 1.
Sure.
It's overrated or underrated. Okay. I'll ask you to rate some tech-related topics or items, and you can tell me whether they are overrated or underrated. Okay.
Go for it.
Number 1, Apple AirPods.
Can I say they're rated?
Yeah, you can say they're rated bang in the middle. They're okay.
I like them. I've got a
Yeah.
set myself. And, no, I'm all on board with those.
Fair enough. The tangling, I still haven't got them, so I'm still tangling and trying to straighten them all out with my fingernails.
They're good for phone calls. In the gym, you don't have to worry about tangling. No, I like them. They're good.
Number 2, the PlayStation Vita. So the new PSP. The new PSP has been out for how many years now? But
I don't know if I'm qualified enough to comment on this one.
You're not a gaming guy, you know.
No, I mean I've got an Xbox and I'll play that occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe your opinion will be worthwhile on it.
Who cares about my opinion? I think I had a PSP, and that was great. Obviously, that was, I use your words, I use groundbreaking. It was groundbreaking when you got it, and it was like, wow, I've never had it portable. You can take a little console with you everywhere. Yeah. Fantastic. And I think they should have stayed with that. I really think they should have stayed with the PSP. Then they rebranded it as a PlayStation Vita, and it looked exactly the same. It was just thinner, and the screen was slightly bigger, and the buttons were more slick, and they weren't so blocky. I think it's, I would say it's overrated personally.
Yeah.
I think because there's no need for it. There was no need, so I think it's overrated.
Well, we'll go with you on that one.
Thank you very much. I'm Carrick for 30 seconds. That was me. Number 3, Nintendo Wii.
I think that was overrated.
Oh. My heart is broken. Broken.
I think at the time though, let me go back. And
you better
and make some amends. At the time, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it got people moving as well, and also opened up gaming, I think, to a demographic of people who never necessarily understood it or got it before then. And I did enjoy a round of golf with my dad.
Yeah, absolutely. With just a little remote in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think. It kind of felt old school without even being old school.
Yeah, no, I think I get you.
But I guess that's what Nintendo are good at doing, and they're a company that's sort of held their value. I mean, if you have a good condition Nintendo 64, I believe you can still sell that for quite a lot of money still. But no, I think I did have fun with that, but it wasn't like, wow, this is unbelievable.
It's just another. Oh, it's okay. It's another competitor. Yeah. That's fair enough. I hate you, Carrick. So number 4, the hoverboards or the scooter. So you know what all these kids are used to be on, and there still are sort of some of them now when they're walking. They're going around. I say walking, not even walking around. They're just looking like some sort of statue on one of those little hoverboards. Overrated or underrated?
Again, I've never had a go on one.
No.
I've always wanted to, but I am terrible on a skateboard.
Yeah.
And I just think if there's a risk of me being terrible on that and a skateboard, then maybe it's.
I'm willing to bet that.
Yeah, it's not the best idea. And all I've seen are videos of people just completely ruining themselves.
Dads and granddads going, "This is great,
Granddad."
Granddad.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm not gonna rate it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. I like WhatsApp. I think
Mhm.
WhatsApp's great. We've just launched a new website actually as of last week, and we've now got full WhatsApp integration, so we can actually send people quotes, messages, information directly through our website.
Wow.
So I think WhatsApp's going to be interesting, and I think same with Facebook Messenger and all these. I've always been preferred getting a text about something than an email.
Yeah, probably the same as me. I think. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. More direct. It's straight to your phone. Then,
Exactly. So no, I'm a user of WhatsApp. I think it'll be interesting to see what more features they add to it over time. But I like how you can do WhatsApp web as well. So no, I'll rate WhatsApp.
Yep. Drones.
Drones, don't get me started. Drones are brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm all about drones. As long as they're used safely and correctly, and you don't try and fly over an airport or anywhere else you shouldn't be for that matter, then yeah, I think drones are brilliant. But I think the technology, especially in these and DJI drones, are getting more and more savvy about not letting idiots fly them.
Yeah. You reckon underrated? Then they're still
no, I think they're where they should be.
Comfortable position.
Yeah, I don't think anyone truly realised their capability of them yet.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more stuff to come out if people think, hang on a second, if we use a drone for that, it'd be so much better. And that's part of what we're going to be exploring a lot into this year, is drone analytics.
Oh, another classic. Flappy Bird. Remember
Flappy
that?
Bird.
Remember
I
that?
enjoy that game. I don't know why the guy turned it off.
Oh, it was what was it? What was the reason he did turn it off?
He was getting so much hate, I think, for it.
I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was hate. He just got rid of it. And I remember for about... if you downloaded it, I think... It was something to do with if you downloaded it and then cut it off, you still had it, but you couldn't get it updated.
Yeah,
So you could still have it on your phone. And I obviously had a terrible phone at the time, so I was still playing it. And everyone's going, oh, how have you still got that? And I go, acted like some sort of tech genius going, yeah, I kept it. How'd you keep it? I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I just didn't update my phone.
You didn't update your phone, brilliant.
I think it was... It
was painfully addictive, though.
It was. It got to a point where I was, playing it all the time, not getting homework done because I wanted to try and beat my mate's score or my personal score. Yeah. Dangerous game. Uber.
I think they're another great company. They've revolutionised and disrupted a sort of industry that very much... Well, I think it's obviously a bit of a bitter pill to swallow for the traditional cabbie drivers, especially in London, who have been at it for years, honing their craft and skill. The service that I've never actually had a bad experience with Uber. I know that I'm aware that some people have.
No, of course.
But me personally, I've never had a bad experience, and it's always been so easy to just arrange your travel. I mean, at the end of the day, when cabbies are great. They've learned years learning their skill, but obviously a price tag comes with that. And at the end of the day, I just want to get somewhere.
Yeah. Don't care how I do it. I just want to get.
Yeah, and being able to sort of schedule them, stuff like that. You don't even need to pick up the phone, speak to someone, or call one. You just literally go on an app, and it already knows where you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so no, I'm all for Uber.
Okay. And the final one, dangerous one for me, contactless on your card.
Yeah, dangerous one for me as well. To be honest, I think again, I think it's brilliant because I will rate contactless. It's just I think it's enabled us to sort of be faster with how we sort of as you pay for things, because before entering your chip and pin and this, that and the other was brilliant. There's a couple of elements that I don't massively like about it, but I think it's the reason why I do it. Banks want to keep people paying things with their bank card. Cash isn't that used to them because the banks don't get any data on where you spend your money. Yeah, this, that and the other, and that data is obviously useful for them. I think contactless is I think they actually were so clever in the solution they came up with contactless, because it's actually faster than cash.
Yeah,
well.
It's just speed it. Everyone needs that. Ding, done. I'm out of here.
A lot of the time, it's very rare that you have the exact amount of cash that you're paying for something. So you need to wait for the person to open the register. Boof, here's your change. Yeah. But card, just like slap it on. I guess that the one thing I just not too keen on about it is I've noticed with contactless payments, it actually takes a while to actually come off your balance.
Yeah, it's independent for a bit, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
It depends for a bit, and then
you think you've got more money than you've got. Yeah,
it doesn't show on your statement for a while, but a chip and pin does. It's pretty much instant. Yeah. But no, I think overall I think contactless has been a great thing. It has moved us forward in just terms of ease of paying for stuff.
Well, there you go. So we've come to the end of another episode of Reality Check. Carrick, have you enjoyed yourself?
I have, and thank you very much for having me, Matt. It's been good, and I've enjoyed having a chat. I just have got an interest in these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been good to have you on. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
To my guest Carrick of Ground Level Up, and thank you for clicking on this episode. You'll hear from me very soon on Season 2 of Reality Check Podcast.
Let me show you something.